Another day, another 25% on Ghost Rider. As I continue to get piped, we look to the rest of the content in this update. So, we're going to be talking about Sin today, but in the review for Sin, we also have to touch on Morgan Le Fay because she's now available and she's essentially the exact same cost as Sin. And I've had a bunch of people hit me up and ask me, should I get Sin? Should I get Morgan Le Fay? I can only choose one. So, while we're covering Sin and what she's good for, I'm also going to be, at the beginning, doing a little comparison between the two. That's not to say that Sin is not good, but it really depends on what you need, right? Because we're way past the point in this game where you don't need to buy every uniform, you don't need to get every character, but it really depends on what your roster needs the most. So they're both supports, yes. They're both female, yes. They're both actually villains in this case too, which is interesting. However, they do have different typings, and then they have different support abilities. Now, Sin has a better leadership than Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay's leadership is just increasing debuff or decreasing debuff duration, which is not very good. She has a 24% all attack lead, so her leadership is actually useful. That is something to note. But besides that, there is a few key differences. The other key difference here between Sin and Morgan Le Fay is that Sin has an artifact that gives her an additional support buff, whereas Morgan does not. Morgan's artifact just does nothing. It just increases her damage that she deals, but she's not a threat for PvE content. That's the other big difference here that I'm not really going to showcase because my Morgan has a mighty insight, is that Morgan, when I reviewed her last year, was not good for PvE as a standalone character. She just was not very good. She didn't hit very hard. She wasn't really proc friendly. It was kind of a whole big thing. So Morgan is very strictly and sort of traditionally just a support. Whereas Sin has a leadership, Sin has actual, like, she's proc friendly, as you'll see, and then Sin also has a support. However, in the support category, I think Morgan Le Fay wins, and that's, I think, what most people care about is how good is the support. If they're both supports, which one is the better support? I think it's Morgan Le Fay, and the reason for that is Morgan basically has a weaker version of Sin's support plus another support. So she has the boss type damage to all universals, and she has basic attack. The basic attack actually covers Sin's leadership, so actually they're pretty square on that front, and actually 35 is higher than 24. The 35 to boss type is almost half of Sin's. Sin's is 55 to boss types, but keep in mind that Morgan Le Fay's may be a little bit more flexible for you because it's all universals. It's not just villains, which, take that as you will, but it includes heroes and villains. But then it also has that second line where it gives you debuff cleanse. That's very useful for PvP and basically any PvP game mode, not just a specific PvP game mode. So this is useful for, timeline battle, alliance conquest, otherworld battle, right? It's useful for everywhere. And also because she gives damage to boss types, and because universal allies are so powerful in this game, you sort of have to reflect on it that way. If we take a look at the meta guide for ABX and ABL, you'll see that Morgan Le Fay pops up whenever you are either using Black Bolt, who is a really strong universal for PvE content, or Jean Grey. And you'll also see Morgan potentially pop up with Ghost Rider, especially if you don't have Ghost Panther or Robbie Reyes. So Morgan Le Fay actually double, triple, quadruple dips. You can use her up to 5 times in a week with the ABX ABL cycle. So it's very, she's very, very powerful in that sense, right? Whereas Sin, as a speed villain, only has 1 day. Down here, she's going to replace Mystique. I haven't updated this just yet. I have to get the icon for her, but yeah, she's just going to replace Mystique. So in that sense, as a support, yeah, Morgan does win. Sin, still a good support, absolutely solid, but as it currently stands right now, yeah, not too many days to be used. Now, her support is not even there. I don't know why I went there. It's right here. So speed villains get 55% increased damage to boss types. Again, almost twice as strong as Morgan's support, but there's no PvP aspect to this. There's no debuff cleanse, anything like that. The artifact does give additional damage to villains and heroes, I believe. It's like 9%. It's a very low number, so I wouldn't even honestly count it. So that's essentially the difference between these two characters, and that's what sort of makes them tick. It's the comparison of them as supports, but what about as standalone characters? Well, this is what I was interested in. because unlike Morgan Le Fay, I think that Sin has a little bit of value here. I think a little bit more than a little bit. I think she has value here, and I think that you know, people who see this will sort of understand why. So she ramps really hard after the tier 3. It's pretty noticeable, and it's because the tier 3 gives her accumulation. She has a pretty easy rotation. You just delay cancel 5 into 3 cancel 4. You proc on 4, and you can also instant cancel 6. Instant cancel 6 gives her the accumulation, which is why she ramps so hard. So pretty easy rotation, lots of hits, nice burst damage there. 2 bars before Null went flying. Pretty nice. And let's see here what the AoE looks like. The AoE is a little bit like focused, which can be a bit of a problem. Okay, I don't think we're going to make it here to... Yeah, okay. Just a little bit of damage, man. Just a tiny bit of damage. That sort of stuff pisses me off when you're, you know, phase changing. Let's pop off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, this is solid. Bro, for a support, this is solid. You know what I'm saying? Now, he does push her around, so you're going to want to use the walls or the edges of the arena to your advantage. Let's see how much burst we can get here. Hey, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Enough burst to skip the dragon phase. That's not bad at all. Like, sure, she's just a support, but you gotta appreciate this for what it is, right? It's not bad, is what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. We're going to pop off here. So this is a 2-minute clear. This is sort of like a hybrid between a damage dealer and a support. This is impressive. This is impressive. 2 minutes is very fast. 2 minutes is very fast for my account here with a normal tier 3, with a normal CTP. Let's push this a little higher. We originally tried stage 79 on stream, but I wasn't able to do it. She kept dying or running out of time. So we're going to do 75 here. But I genuinely think she can do 75 of Mephisto. Now, she does struggle a little bit against Mephisto, I'll be honest, because of the all the hits that she has. So she charges up Mephisto's whatever it's called, his rage meter. She charges it up pretty fast. However, this is still really impressive. Like, not many characters at tier 3. You know, not many villains. We don't have a lot of villains that can just pop off and do this, right? And certainly Mystique can't. Like, she certainly puts Mystique to shame, but obviously Mystique is a little bit cheaper, being a crystal wall versus a full-on paywall. And honestly, I think her skills combo really well. Like, it looks like this massive onslaught barrage between the laser scopes on the 3rd skill and the giant mega scope on 5, and then when you pop the tier 3, the way that the tier 3 looks. Now, I am splashing in the 1. Look at that. She can do this. I'm splashing in the 1 every second rotation to charge up the tier 3 so that it's available every other rotation. You can also use the 2 to do that. I'm just not fast enough at canceling the 2 before it explodes and hits. So that's something that you can sort of practice to improve on. Or if you're playing on a controller or on a PC, it's even easier to do that. But yeah, this is the rotation. It's very easy. I have very little practice with this character, and she kind of goes hard. Now, it's a really high stage, and her defenses are not the best, so if you're not careful, you will get shredded. That is something that I will say. Unlike some other characters here, you got to be careful. She doesn't have the highest HP pool, as you can see, just over 100,000. Like, Taskmaster has more HP than her, which is not a compliment, by the way. Not a compliment. But yeah. Let's see here. We don't want to... Yeah, didn't want to catch too much of that damage. Very nice. Pop off here. Nice. We're probably going to have to go through one more of those phases, unfortunately. Because... Oh! Never mind. Woo! Girl's got damage on damage, bro. Bro, when was the last time you saw a support doing stage 75 of anything? That was a super delayed proc for some reason. That was really cringe. But let's see here. Yeah, we just have to be a little bit careful with her damage-wise. I don't want her to take too much damage and not be able to pop off. But yeah, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. Look at those bars start flying with the tier 3, bro. It's satisfying. Like, I gotta say, it's satisfying. You know, it really depends on the fantasy that you want. Okay, this is cringe. Okay, and then freeze. Time freeze. Very cool. It really depends on the fantasy that you want when you play this game. But if you want this, like, giant armada of explosions and stuff when you're playing, and guns and lasers and shit, this is truly one of the few characters that can deliver on that in spades, right? I'm gonna have to co-op here so I don't die to this stupid shit here. Okay, he's gonna just keep spamming it because he's a cringe lord. We finally missed a proc, so yeah, super proc friendly. A bit unfortunate we missed that proc there, but let's pop off. Wow, a lot of damage I took there. We're actually struggling in this last phase. We're actually struggling. Unfortunate. Either delayed procs or the one missed proc has really put us behind the 8-ball a little bit here. But I think we got this. I think we got this easy peasy here. About to unload hell on this dude. When he stands still, it's even easier. That's really the only other thing she struggles with, is she struggles a little bit with mobs that move. As you can see here, her AoE is not that good. So I would suggest waiting until the mob or the boss or whoever you're fighting is completely stationary. And then you can just unleash and unload on them. But look at that. 28 seconds left on stage 75. That's amazing, in my opinion. That's for a support. That's amazing. Morgan Le Fay could never, bro. Morgan Le Fay could never. Maybe with like a Brilly whatever, but that's fucking nonsense. So yeah, as a support, I think value wins over everything else. I think Morgan Le Fay takes the cake. As a damage dealer, as like a useful character that you use, Sin. However, I will point out there is one sin of Sin, and it's that they didn't update the graphics on her character model's guns. The sniper and the gun she's holding and the missile. They did not update it. And this is very disrespectful because this is a 2023 uniform and they're using reused assets from 2016. Listen, they can reuse the shape of the asset. There's nothing wrong with that, but at least reskin it. At least add new textures so that this doesn't look so pixelated. You know, it's especially jarring once you notice because her character model, right, the polygon count is way higher. It's very well textured, right? It's very, very nice. And then you look at these low res guns next to it and it looks so silly. It looks ridiculous. So I hope the devs fix that. It's a bit embarrassing that they didn't, but yeah, it is what it is. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you with the Ghost Rider. Take care.